Doop-de-doop-doop-doo. Testing the mic. Alright. Looks like the sound is up. Hopefully. Make sure the music ain't too loud. And good afternoon, everybody, or I suppose it's good evening since it's 8 o'clock. Let's see. Pokemon Families has been on hold for half a year now. I finished Johto back in July. And, yeah, I've been, itching to get back into it. Hoenn, born and raised right here. So, maybe a little rusty, but we've got 3 hours to get a good illustration done, and let's take a look at what we got. Hello, CC. Just came from the GT live stream. Ooh, I didn't know GT Live was streaming. I must not follow their live stream channel because I never get the announcements. What were they streaming about? Did they actually finish, or did you just leave to come here? I enjoy GT Live's streams, but I usually only catch them in hindsight when they post the footage. Well, let's take a look at what we've got to work with today. We're starting Hoenn Families, everybody. Yep, yes sirree. And I've never really been much of a big fan of Treecko personally, so let's see what I can do. VR rhythm game called Beat Saber. GT Live is streaming a rhythm game? That doesn't seem like their cup of tea, but I don't know. Maybe there's some theories to be had in a rhythm game. The Treecko is the wood gecko Pokemon. It's only about almost 2 feet tall, so it's not super small, but it's a itty bitty guy. Small, green, bipedal reptilian Pokemon. It has yellow eyes with long, narrow pupils. Treecko's hands and feet each have 3 digits covered with tiny spikes. I didn't know they had spikes on their toes. Is that part of the design, or is that just from the, that's probably from a dex entry or something. These spikes allow it to scale vertical walls with ease. Its stomach and throat are red. I do like the addition of red. So Pink Celebi is an honorary family member. What's this? Is Pink the Celebi's shiny? I did Celebi last generation. It is. It's pink. I had no idea. Oh, it's really cute. Makes me think of a shallot. You know, when you buy a shallot or like a little red onion, it sometimes has that kind of pink color. Let's see. Stomach, throat are red. You also has a red, not a red, a line across its stomach resembling a pouch. Treecko has, oh, like a Dragon Tales dragon pouch. I always love that feature of the dragons from Dragon Tales, is that they could just put anything in their pouch. From Pokemon Explorers. Mystery Dungeon Explorers? I've literally started maybe like 3 or 4 Mystery Dungeon games, and I've never completed any of them. Treecko has a large dark green tail with two separate lobes that it uses to sense humidity. That's another thing I didn't know. This ability allows it to predict the next day's weather. Treecko is a bit of a rarity in the wild and is more common in captivity. However, when in the wild, Treecko lives inside overgrown forests. It makes its home in tall trees and will attack anyone that comes near its nest. Because of its territorial nature, it is known to be the protector of the forest's trees. Treecko is known for its calm and collected personality. It will never panic under any circumstances, even when faced with a bigger foe. Nice. I don't like its feet. Oh. Why is it like that? Treecko has small hooks on the... Yeah, okay, so it is part of its dex entry, the hooks on the feet. That seems like the most of them are talking about that. Alright, well, let's take a screenshot of this boy. Move on to Grovyle. I like to read all of these, Bulbapedia articles before I draw Pokemon, because sometimes you find the most interesting facts sometimes that you don't necessarily know. Grovyle is a bipedal Pokemon, similar in appearance to the theropod dinosaur. It is primarily green with a red underside. There is a belt-like green stripe across its belly. Grovyle's hands have 2 clawed fingers and powerful legs with bird-like feet. Its well-developed muscles make it an expert climber and allow it to leap quickly from branch to branch. Grovyle has 3 long leaves on its wrists, a large leaf on top of its head, and 2 tails that have a leafy appearance. This leafy appearance allows it to be camouflaged in the forest where it lives. These leaves are also used in its former signature move, Leaf Blade. I guess it doesn't happen anymore. Look at that pose. Okay. Leaves on this body are convenient for camouflage. Flies from branch to branch in trees. It's in a forest can ever no Pokemon can ever hope to catch a fleeing Grovyle. Not too much going on. Nothing really surprising. Sceptile. Oops. Take a picture of this boy. I think Grovyle is my favorite of the 3. I like that face that it has. Oops, I skipped the... There it is. Skeptile or Sceptile? Sceptile is a reptilian bipedal Pokemon. Its neck is somewhat long, and it has 2 crests on its head. It has semicircular yellow eyes with red rims. Its lower jaw and belt-like band across its waist are also red. Along its back, it has 2 lines running down the middle and 2 rows of yellow nodules that are described as seeds. Huh. So if it plants those seeds, do they turn into Treecko? Its tail is similar to that of a palm tree's branch. Both of its long arms have 2 sharp, elongated leaves and 3 claws. These leaves allow it to use its former signature move, Leaf Blade. As Mega Sceptile, its head crests become more pointed with a round portion missing from the middle. Red markings surround its eyes, which become smaller and more narrow. The yellow seeds down its back grow larger. The last pair turns red, while the pair above it turns orange. Red stripes encircle the base of the tail and run across the lower belly. The leaves on its waist become more pointed. Upper ones have red tips covering its chest and shoulder, leaving... I'm not drawing Mega Sceptile, and this is just all description. Sceptile is a jungle Pokemon. The seeds contain nutrients, which are said to be able to revitalize trees. It is capable of leaping freely from branch to branch. While it has the ability to slice down thick trees, it is known to care lovingly for plants in the forest. This Pokemon regulates its body temperature by basking in sunlight. Let's see. Well, it's time to open up a Photoshop document. I pulled open one of my old families from Johto, just so I can make sure I get the size correct for the canvas. Usually if I'm continuing an old project, I like to take what I have from before and work from there. So yep, make sure that it's at 300 resolution and 20 by 13. That's really big. Don't know why I decided to go with that. Maybe let me see. If I resize this to 9, yeah, there it is. 9 by 6 is the ratio there. And let's just make this white. Let's choose a green color just to get into the Treecko spirit of things. And we might as well drop our screenshots in just so we know what it looks like. Like I said, I've never drawn these guys before, really, so let's take a look. So I guess its eyes are more on the side of its face, and it's got a big round nose. Reminds me of Yoshi. Yoshi! Colleges are starting soon, and my sister stole my Switch. Ran off to college with my Switch, so can't play any more Smash Brothers, unfortunately. So there's this Discord server that I was invited to a long time ago. It's for Pokemon artists, mostly comic creators. And I didn't really participate in a while. It was kind of intimidating, but this year I decided to be a little more active on some servers, so I jumped in, and it's been a great time. And we started talking about Pokemon evolution versus age. And it reminded me, in the anime, I believe there is a Treecko that is like really old, but he's still a Treecko. Personally, I feel like Pokemon evolution doesn't have anything to do with age. Especially since you can, like, you know, train harder to make your Pokemon evolve faster. So, to me, it seems like probably in the wild, a lot of Pokemon could live their entire lives, grow old, and, like, die without ever evolving if they don't, you know, actually participate in battles and stuff. Or whatever experiences. think it kind of, the conversation started with wondering about Pokemon that sort of hi Kuro Comics, who has been eagerly awaiting this day. Yay! I'm glad. I too have been eager to start working on families again. It's always such a nice, kind of calming project because I know exactly what I have to do, and it's kind of satisfying too because every time you can get at least one done. And I'm not gonna push it. I'm gonna aim for at least one. If I have like 2 hours left for some reason, I might do another, but yeah. But we were talking about animals who like age differently. And wondering if maybe some Pokemon do that too. Like maybe a certain Pokemon might be 5 years old, and another one's like 20, but they're the same maturity level because of the way that their species ages, kind of like dogs, you know. And then someone brought up the parallel of elves and something like, what if you had like a 75-year-old elf, but he's just as mature as like a 3-year-old. I don't know. Cause you know elves can like live up to maybe like, I don't know, 700 years or so. But I feel like unless your species keeps your brain development like really, really basic until a certain age, it's hard to live for 75 years and not get mature. And I much more prefer the trope of young child looking creature person who's actually like a really old person. Or rather, it's not that they don't develop until they're older, but that they develop the same way mentally and maturity wise as humans do. But then at the point where humans would normally die of old age, they would continue and like achieve a greater sense of, you know, understanding of the world beyond what we can comprehend. And that's why they're all so high and mighty over us. This was the silly thing that introduced me to your work. Oh, yay! I really enjoy the Pokemon families. And the Johto families are, like, I'm really proud of those ones. I sometimes go back and look at the Kantos and I'm like, ugh, these could be a lot better. Sometimes I feel like I really want to redo some of the Kanto ones just because. But I did start a lot simpler with those. Maybe when I like finish everything, I might go back and at least do the Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle lines. Like Charmander I'm kind of okay with. It's not my favorite of the starters that I've done, but it's still pretty fun and interesting. The Bulbasaur and the Squirtle lines, it's literally just them standing around. Like Bulbasaur line is them like doing some funny pose, and then the Squirtles, yeah, I'm not really happy with those ones. But when if you may allow yourself to go back and redo old projects, it never ends. The cycle never ends. And I was not a huge fan of when what was his name? Lanny Patar went and redubbed a bunch of his Yu Yu Hakusho abridged episodes. He said he didn't like the quality, like I guess maybe the quality of the audio or his acting, and that he could do better now. But there's a charm to the weird way that it sounded, and I don't know, I preferred the original. Like, whereas I can see what he's talking about with the audio quality, maybe it feels stale when he does it again, you know? If we go by Pathfinder standard, since elves reach adulthood at 110, humans at 15, so 75 would be like 11 to 12 years old. Yeah, so then the question is that like physical maturity or mental maturity, you know? Like, could it just be like they're not physically considered adults? Like, they still look like 11 and 12 years olds. Oh, they don't have thumbs. Shoot. Grovile doesn't have thumbs. Because if experience-wise, by the time you're 75, even if you're considered a teen still, I feel like you'd still have gained the experience of like 75 years worth of experience. I didn't know that elves mature to adulthood at 110 though. That's pretty cool. Rattata family was definitely my favorite. Just the looks on the, oh man, yes. Kanto families had some rough ones, but it also had some real gems. is that weird to call your own work a gem? I think you've hit gold if you draw something and then when you look at it, it makes you laugh as the person who drew it. Huh. So I haven't really decided on what to do with these guys yet. I'm just kind of drawing them to get their anatomy down. You weren't in here earlier, but this is pretty much my first time drawing these. I think I've drawn Grovile before. I don't think I've ever drawn Sceptile. I might have done Treecko, like, because maybe I was doing the other starters and I just had to put them in. I did a really chibi version of him for my buttons that I sold at conventions and stuff. So I've kind of checked him out. But Sceptile, I'm not sure what he's supposed to look like. There's a lot of Pokemon that, and if you stick around for the draw Pokemon from memory challenges that I sometimes do, you'll know this for a fact. But I tend to think I know what a Pokemon looks like, but then realize I don't until I have to draw it. There's just details that you don't pay attention to. Okay, I've run out of room for Sceptiles. Let me just start a new layer. The Oddish family is another one of my favorites. Okay, so with Sceptile's head, It's very plainier. I just gotta kind of keep track of where the planes are. I like his eyes. I never noticed how much personality there is behind those eyes. I'm gonna it's gonna be out of proportion, but I'm gonna shrink his body down just because I wouldn't have any room otherwise. So let's see. He's got some shoulders going on there. Round belly. Let's see. The transition from body to tail seems to go like this. I'm assuming it's kind of like a normal dinosaur tail, and it just has these leaf things coming off of it. That's what I'm going with. There's 4 of them. It's funny, like, there are a lot of parts of Sceptile that I like better than Grovyle. It's just when they're all put together, the overall aesthetic isn't a favorite of mine. Like, I like that he has thumbs. That's definitely an improvement. I like his feet. I don't like Grovyle's big bird feet. I don't like drawing birds in general, and a lot of it is the feet, and a lot of the rest of it is the body, and of course the wings are always difficult. That's more like me having trouble with anatomy. Something like that. And while I don't like the way his head looks, I do like how it feels drawing it. They all have nice heads, I'd say. What to do? So my first thought is maybe... I've already lost it. I've already forgotten what he looks like. I'm just gonna rough in some stuff. But maybe, running? Just the 3 of them. Having a bit of a jog across the Jurassic savanna. Something like that. Let me think. So Yeah, Grovyle has these big leaf things. Chikorita has a big leaf thing, though it's just one. But then, like, Bayleaf and Meganium have a bunch around their neck. Ivysaur has that, like, ring of leaves, and Venusaur, of course. What was the fourth gen? Oh, yeah. That turtle thing. What's it called? Torterra. All grass starters have too many leaves on them. Like, I get you're a plant-based Pokemon, but it just makes it difficult. I don't want the leg to touch the arm there. That's that doesn't look good if it touches. I want this to continue down. Okay, so if I have him running like that. Problem now is if I draw another guy in front of him, it'll block a bunch of his body. What if Grovyle was like riding on top of him? Let's see. So Grovyle's feet actually have thumbs, but his forehands don't. And then Sceptile's feet don't have thumbs, but then his upper claws do. It's a good trade-off, I guess. Grovyle doesn't even have a tail. He just got a big old rump. Wonder if their feet spikes are good enough to let him hang upside down on trees. Oh, I'm sure about that. Yeah, especially with all of the texture on a tree, there's no doubt. I don't think Grovyle and Sceptile have feet spikes though. What if he's not happy about this? I'm gonna get ya. Okay, something like that. You know, my problem with the starter families is it always seems to be the two bigger ones get all the attention, and then I just kind of slap the first stage in there somewhere. With Chikorita, I liked having her right up in the, you know, focus, and then design the drawing around her. But with Bulbasaur, he's just kind of there. With Squirtle, he's just kind of there. So, how do I add the Treecko without making him seem tacked on? Let's see. I like this face, but what if... Well, let me copy this in case I want to come back. But what if... It's always fun finding out how people discover you online. Like, I assume most people know me because of Jet's Black Nuzlocke, but there's a ton of people who, like Kuro is like, the Pokemon families are the thing. That was the gateway. Betting you finish this and color it too. By the time I finish the line art, I've already had an hour head start on. Oh no, Casey, you gotta pick your battles. If that's the case, you're saying it's gonna take you 3 hours to finish your current thing that you're working on right now. Because that's how much time I've allotted for me to do this. Hopefully I get it done before 3 hours, because I want to have some time to, you know, draw some Pokemon at the end. But until it starts creeping up on that 3 hour mark, I'm not gonna be worried. Oh, that face. These boys are too long. I need to make them bigger. But if I make them too big, they'll fly off the page because they're just so long. What if little Treecko's down here? Seriously, why are his feet like that? They like, his toes all curl up. It's weird. Let me see if I can move Grovyle over a bit to give Treecko a little more space. We were also talking about Pokemon sizes the other day, and how it doesn't make much sense. And like, in my head canon, I like to sort of go by how animals are measured, which sort of rectifies a lot of the discrepancies between what you sort of expect a Pokemon size to be and what it actually is. It fixes a lot of issues. Kind of like how Charizard, everyone always says, is way too small in its canon height. But I I like to think it's about perfect because if you consider the way that a lot of animals, especially quadrupeds with long necks, are measured, they measure them to the shoulder, because especially with horses, if you're going to like let the horse go through a tunnel, it can bend its neck down real low. So that height difference between when its head is up and when it's like down or just relaxed neutral, there's so much variation to that it's not really a good indicator. But its shoulders, when standing tall, will pretty much be consistent all the way through its growth. So if you consider Charizard's cannon height, which whatever it is, maybe like, I don't know, 5 feet, I'm gonna say. If that's going to its shoulders, and then you add its neck and body on top of that, then it kind of makes a little more sense. And then add on top of that, we're talking about comparing them to 10-year-olds, which then, you know, are way smaller. Another one I found out recently is that lizards are measured from the nose to the base of the tail. Because that tail can, you know, fall off, grow back, get cut down. A certain species could have, one individual have like a tail twice as long as the other. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. But even with all that said, we still found some that didn't make any sense at all. Well, I mean, maybe makes a little bit of sense, but like, a Bannet is apparently a real big boy. It's supposed to be a cursed doll or something. That doll must have cost like $300 because it is child size. I wish I had written some of the other ones down. Nidoking has always been one that like baffled me how small it is, even if you consider like where it's measured to. Psyduck is a pretty big boy. Though I guess we should have expected that, since in the anime he ain't no small chicken. No Pokemon don't have tech, but Treecko taking a selfie in front of Sceptile, then Grovyle decides to photobomb it. Oh my goodness. Let's give it a try. So like, of course, I never take selfies, so I don't actually know what you look like when you're in one. Something like that, I think. Spoink is really big too. Whether you can measure it with or without the pearl, it is a big boy. And in a way, it kind of makes sense if you consider how big real pigs are. Um, like, and also, like, can we talk about how real life animals have this same thing? Like, I constantly misjudge how big I think a real life animal would be. So maybe it's not so much that the Pokedex sizes are inaccurate, but that our perceptions are inaccurate, you know? Like, can you imagine being in the Pokemon world and literally seeing a Pokemon in real life and being like, I had no idea. But yeah, pigs, like real life pigs are ginormous. I don't like that pose. I don't like the pose. Treecko takes a selfie with Sceptile. Was thinking with the running picture just how it would all look essentially through a mirror. Let me see. So if I get rid of him and then put him here, you know, I kind of like having the whole body in the picture. If I did a selfie thing, it would either have to be like really foreshortened, you know, like head, arm, something like that to get it kind of his whole body in. But I already sort of did that with Chikorita, so I don't know. Do I like this or do I want to try something else is the question. Just the way that it is. I didn't expect to make them so derpy today, but that's just how it turned into. Let's give it just one more try. Some other concept before I settle on this one, just to see. I might just come back to this one because it's actually a lot of fun. I like, you know how much I like my big stupid expressions, but let's just try one more thing. Let's see. Grovyle, Sceptile, and Treecko. If this was a vertical image, I could probably have Sceptile sort of lying on the ground with its tail up in the air, and it would look like a tree. Maybe even have its legs up. But it's not. Let's see, what else could I try? Maybe... I don't really have a concept in mind right now. I just wanted to start drawing something, and maybe the image itself will become something. Treecko got really popular from the anime. Ash had a really cool Treecko. Or maybe it was the games that made him popular. Kind of just really like whatever starter you start out with. Unrelated though, but the sizes made me think of the foot-tall Ditto transforming into a Wailord and how that even works. I like to imagine that there's some Ditto that just transform into Ditto-sized versions of that Pokemon. Because otherwise, you would have to imagine the Ditto must be really dense. Kind of like Envy from Full Metal Alchemist. For all that mass to be able to come out of nowhere. I'm sure it's also the same energy that allows small Pokemon to evolve into bigger Pokemon. Because Ditto is, I think it works off of evolution energy. The transform power. I haven't seen the anime in a long time, but I would imagine if you did get to see a Ditto transform, it would glow white, just like how Pokemon do when they evolve. So I'm assuming there's some magic there. Is it too long? Hold it. Is it not that long? I can't tell from the picture. Can't remember what Grovyle. Oh, I think I do. Kind of like that. Something about the way that Grovyle's sort of dinosaur-like head makes me just imagine it being this big old troublemaker. Like that. Nah, I don't like it. Don't like it. Get rid of it. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your tail. If Rapunzel was a Pokemon, which one would it be? Yeah. I kind of feel like putting his head down here. And then putting a Treecko up here. Just seems like something would very comfortably sit on that head of it. Trying to make him look like he's on his tippy toes, but it doesn't really look like that, does it? I don't know what's going on in this picture. It looks kind of funny. Grovile's got these rooster feathers on his. Grovile could be a Rapunzel. Look at that ponytail. Gotta move him back a little bit. It's too close. Let him rest back on his haunches. I'm not a big fan. It's too complicated. I still just go back to this one. It's so simple and silly. I think the Grovile can be done a little better though. Let me see if I can I'm not sure if you can delete something to a certain percent. But this eraser's gonna take forever. Alright. So I was Hoenn born and raised. I did play Red beforehand, but I never got to the end on my own. I believe I actually lent it to a friend of mine, and then he returned it with like a team of level 100s sitting right outside the Elite Four. Let me beat the Elite Four. So technically I beat the game, but not on my own. The first one I really got into was Ruby. So that's where most of my memories are from. Let me break this silhouette here. Something like that. But my first Ruby game I believe my character's name was Emma. And that was, I think I named her after Baby Spice? It was a long time ago. I had a CD that was Spice Girls and like a magazine or something that sort of like had their names and like a little thing about them, and yeah. There was what, Baby Spice, Scary Spice, Sporty Spice, Posh Spice, and I feel like there was one more, but I can't remember. I lost count. But, yeah, Baby Spice's name was Emma, and I don't know why I liked that name, but I chose it. Canonically, I think of Emma as Jet's aunt, because when I then got Fire Red, my main character in that was Risa, and Risa is Jet's mom. So the idea is they lived in Hoenn, and Risa had like health problems. She needed a what are they called? An inhaler to breathe. So them living next to like an ashen volcano was not good for her health. So they packed up and moved to Kanto, and I think while there, Emma like ran away from home and went to become a Pokemon trainer. So never saw her again, but you got crazy Aunt Emma running around out there with her Pokemon. Something like that. I don't know what to do with this arm. This arm is just not being what I want it to be. Trying to think of stuff to talk about, but it's at the same time I'm like also trying to think about what I'm doing in the picture, and it's rather difficult to talk and draw at the same time. Well, where was I? Reminiscing about my old games. What was my team? I think I definitely had a Ninetales. I was never a big fan of Blaziken. So I would always pick the fire starter, but then as soon as he evolved into Blaziken, I would box him, and got a Ninetales. And I had this whole thing planned where I was gonna have a Ninetales like clan almost, like just a whole family of Ninetales. I was gonna breed them all from my my team Ninetales, whose name was Starfire, named after the Teen Titans, and her mate Comet, and then all of their children would have star names. But I never got around to it. Okay, I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna line this This is it. This is what we're going with. What should I do for the line? Thick and thin, maybe? Hard edge round boy would probably have more control, but I'm gonna try this. I think there was, I remember a Raichu. A Raichu for some reason. I don't remember Pikachu being like super common in Hoenn. Like if you ask me right now, I couldn't tell you where the Pikachu is found. But I do remember having a Raichu. It's possible I traded it over from my other game. I also had my Raichu in Fire Red. So Risa's Raichu was named Sparkle, and then Emma's Raichu's name was Sparky. Sparkle and Sparky. I had one of those Mantines. The Stingray Pokemon. His name was Ray. And that's why I always thought that Mantine was a Gen 3 Pokemon. For the longest time, I thought Mantine was Gen 3 until I had to draw it for the Johto Families. Because I would always associate it with my team. So far my Hoenn team consists of 2 Kanto Pokemon, and a Johto Pokemon. Go ahead and save this. Small ring of red around its eye. It's not my favorite design element, but we'll have to put it in. I don't know if I like that point that I put there. I might go back and make it just completely round. I was great at naming Pokemon back in the day. Meaning I wasn't good at all. So I had a Stingray named Ray. I had an electric Pokemon named Sparky. And I had a fire Pokemon named Starfire. And then I got an Absol named Soul. And I believe my Flygon's name was just Fly. So wait, that's 1, So that's Ninetales, Mantine, Pikachu, Flygon, Absol. That's 5 Pokemon. What was my 6th Pokemon? I'm gonna continue the line from there. I pretty much had this sort of thing going in a lot of my older games when I was a kid where I would just have 5 Pokemon. I don't remember who took up my 6th space. It was usually some kind of non-battler. I called it our mascot because I didn't know the term for an HM slave back then. But even if I did, I don't know if I would necessarily consider it an HM slave, since I would always spread the HMs evenly between my team. So I don't think it was necessarily a slave in the sense that it probably had just about as many HM moves as the other team members, but it was a non-battler for sure. I think it was green. My shiny Zubat, which I caught, I believe, in another game and then transferred over. But yeah, because in Fire Red I had Saber, my Rattata. Just a normal Rattata, not a shiny. But I would give it an Everstone and not evolve it. Because if I evolved it, I would that would make it not cute, and you gotta keep it cute. Also, I already had Eradicate named Fang, so no need to have 2. But in story-wise, Risa had Saber the Rattata since before she was a trainer. I don't think Risa actually technically officially became a trainer. She just sort of went off and explored, and she had Pokemon. But she wasn't like registered or anything. She didn't go for badges. She never defeated the Elite Four. So her starter, quote unquote, would have been Saber. And I forget what Risa's like quote unquote starter would have been. When she left home, which Pokemon did she have? Ooh, my finger hurts. Man, now I'm just really trying to remember, because she would have left home with a Pokemon. Maybe it was just the Vulpix. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about it. And let's see. So she had those. And then, okay, so then my brother got me Omega Ruby. I guess this is going into like a different timeline now, so I don't have to make it make sense with the rest of my stories. But I don't like these like leaf things on their arms. They just block so much of the body. My Omega Ruby character's name is Rose. And the only quirky thing about her is that she names all of her Pokemon after the literal thing that they are. Which I guess in universe doesn't make much sense since, you know, they're just the Pokemon. There's no like dog, unless you're saying like dog type Pokemon and like. I guess that would make sense. In any case, so again I got Torchic, nickname Chicken. Did I name him Chicken? I can't remember. Let me think. I feel like I didn't name the Torchic with the same convention as the others. But if I did, its name would be Chicken. And I get my Yena and I name it Dog. And I get what's it called? Zigzagoon and name it Raccoon or something like that. And it was fun, and then you get a little further in, and then you start getting weird Pokemon that you're not really sure what they are, or you already used the closest thing that you would have called it. So, like, I already had a Mightyena named Dog, so what was I gonna name my Manectric? So I named it Alien. Manectric was one of those Pokemon that I never really liked as a kid, but now I really like it. And I don't know what happened between then and now. I think I just kind of like ugly Pokemon now. But I'm not looking forward to drawing it. When we get to that one, Manectric's got that weird geometric shaped thing on its head. And you know me, anything that's geometric and stiff like that ain't my thing. But we'll make it work. It's the closest thing we had to a wolf for the longest time before we got Lycanroc. Fun fact, the original Nuzlocke creator started with Pokemon Ruby. So Pokemon Ruby is where it all began. Back when it was still just called Pokemon Hard Mode. The name Nuzlocke comes from a Nuzleaf that he had, which he would draw with John Locke's face. And his, its quote, it's like, famous quote is, "Everything happens for a reason." And I don't know if that's from Lost or if it's, something that he made up. I feel like it's gotta be from Lost. It's gotta be. Why else would he put John Locke's face on it? But having never seen Lost, it's just purely from his run that I know of that line, which is great. And I think the funny thing is when he picked it up again and did a Fire Red, I think it was Fire Red run was his next one. He just used the same character. So his Fire Red protagonist is named Ruby. Which, one, isn't really a boy's name, and two, doesn't make sense anymore because he's not playing Pokemon Ruby. But it's what we know him as, so. Sometimes I go a little too detailed with the folds, and I don't know if I'm doing that now or if it's just right. I'm trying to give the impression that it's like digging its feet into the ground. I don't feel like I'm doing that. So let me see if I can sort of make them flatten out. That. Apart from Nuzlocke's, one of my other favorite runs from back in the day was Landwalker's Nuzlocke. And the best thing about his was kind of because he didn't have the Dupe's Claws on. So if you don't know, a lot of Nuzlocks will have the Dupe's Claws. And originally I was like, ew, Dupe's Claws, that's so cheating. Like, you know, the whole point is that you have to use Pokemon that you catch and that's it. But someone explained to me that if you do runs a lot, like not just do one run and then like draw a comic about it like what I do. If you're in the... Sorry, I gotta... Not talking. Okay. If you're in the habit of doing a lot of runs, then the Dupe's Claws is like a lifesaver because it gets really boring playing runs over and over again with like teamfuls of Zigzagoon. But his run was really fun because I especially remember, spoiler alert for Landwalker's Nuzlocke, but he had a point where I think he almost wipes, loses all of his team except for like maybe one or two, and so he just has to start over with nothing but the shirt on his back and a team full of Zigzagoons, and it was great. I loved it. But the Zigzagoons also played a big role in the climax, so it's good stuff. I think his sort of stands out in my mind as one of the classic Nuzlocks. The classic Nuzlocke style um being that it starts with like zero production, sort of scribbly, almost stick figure quality art, and then progresses throughout until at the very end you have this epic climax. That's OG classic style Nuzlocke to me, in my head. You, because back in the day, like, people just started these for fun. They played a game, and then they're like, there was almost no explanation for any story. Like, they weren't trying to make a story. They just wanted to share their run experience. But then, as you do, you would always get attached to the characters, to the story, and so they would start putting more effort into it, and a story would just naturally build up. And all the good ones had something that, like, set them apart. I'd say Petty Artist, still one of my favorite. Her original Leaf Green run. I'd say I like it better than her Heart Gold run at the moment, which hasn't updated in a millennia. But when it comes back, I'll be waiting. I'll be here waiting. Kanem's original, I think it was a Diamond run. Oh man, everyone loves her Myths of Unova Black and White run, but I like the Diamond and Pearl one. What's also fun about Kanem's is the protagonist to her Diamond run is actually the mother of the protagonist from Myths of Unova. Which, you know, I'm never gonna be able to do it, otherwise I'll be drawing Pokemon comics for the rest of my life until I die. But if I were to ever do another Nuzlocke, that's one of the things that I would love to try and do, is to connect it back to Jet's Black Nuzlocke. If I were to do one, I think I would have to do a Black and White 2. I think it's like law or something. And I don't know how it would happen, because I don't really have anyone to ship Jet with. But if she were to have, like, a younger relative that shares her last name, it could be, maybe a cousin, or it can't be a brother. There's no way she would have a brother and then, like, 5 years later he's ready to go on a Pokemon journey. So it can't, her mom can't just have another kid. Unless it's, like, a secret sibling, which that's a little strange. Risa isn't the kind to have a secret love child or something. So yeah, I don't know how I would do it, but it would be a boy, and his name would be Matt, so that his name is Matt the Black. Yeah. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Anyways. But yeah, I would have to do Black and White 2 if I wanted to tie it in. Of course, the one that I did want to do is a Pearl run that's sort of PMD style, in that there's, like, no humans, so everyone's a Pokemon. I always love that concept. And I wanted to do a Pearl one. The main character would be a Turtwig, and that would make, what's his name? Barry? I think his official name is Barry in the whatever makes rival names official thing. But in my run I named him Matt because you have Lucas as the third guy. I don't know what Lucas is. He's like the other player character, but he's not really a rival. Is he a rival? Maybe he's a rival. Anyway, I guess your other rival, Lucas, I wanted to have like a theme naming for the three of them. So it would be Matt, Lucas, and John. So it's kind of like Matthew, Mark, and John. I thought that was fun. Biblical names are a lot of fun. But I don't know, like doing another run after Jet is just out of the question for me. Speaking of PMD style though, I recently read a Nuzlocke that I don't know if it's Emerald, Ruby, or Sapphire, but it's Gen 3, and it does that. It's like there's only Pokemon, and I forget what it's called, but it's pretty good. Oh no! You can't hear me! I can't really move my mic any closer. Let me see if I can up the volume on it. Also, hi, Chico! It's always good to see you. Hope you've had a good week. I hope everyone has had a good week. Kuro and Casey. I guess the week's just started. I'm used to having the streams on Saturday still, even though I've moved it to Monday for a while now. It's been hard to keep up with the stream since the change of platform schedule. Sorry, Chico. Did you check the YouTube and computer volume? Oh, YouTube has a volume too? Oh, on Chico's end, you mean? Is anyone else having trouble hearing me? I've been talking for a while, so I haven't really checked the volume, but yeah, I turned it up a bit. Ha! Keyboard is clean! You! Chico, is this any better? Let me try to move the mic a little bit closer. That's as close as I can get it. Hope that's a little better for you. But yeah, sorry about it being hard to make it because of the new schedule. I may be able to stream on another day now that what's it called? Now that I'm on YouTube. Twitch was like, I don't know what happened with Twitch. It was going really well for a while, and then suddenly it just wouldn't load any streams. Like it would lag and freeze and crash and all sorts of unhappy things were happening. Unfortunately, I don't really have any plans to go back to Saturday nights for my streaming time. It's I have another stream that I frequent on Saturday nights. A friend of mine is really into Sonic the Hedgehog, and I had forgotten my love for Sonic the Hedgehog a long time ago, but seeing her unironic enjoyment of even some of the worst games. I mean, to be fair, she hasn't gotten to any of the worst games yet, but maybe the ones that don't so much hold up, like Sonic Heroes, Sonic Adventure 1, you know, that stuff. Still a lot of fun. Gotta get that Sonic kick. And also, she's a patron, so I gotta support her in her endeavors. Which isn't really a patron thing, but she's cool, and I enjoy her streams. So, in any case, she's got that Saturday slot taken care of, and it seems to be working for her on Twitch. So, I'm in no mood to compete with that. And I'm not going to be able to do the Monday streams any earlier or later, I'm afraid, because I'm going to be at work much longer into the evening this semester. And we'll probably have to wake up a lot earlier as well. So I don't want to be going to sleep too late, nor do I want to, nor will I be able to jump on and stream any earlier. It's sad, but true. Oh, I hope she gets the Sonic 06. I certainly do. It's funny. I don't know anything about Sonic 06. I've not watched any playthroughs. I've never played it myself. I just know that it's terrible. And I know that there's like Sonic human kissing, which just completely drove me away. But after watching her play Sonic Forces, not only do I want to buy Sonic Forces, but I'm like really intrigued by Silver the Hedgehog. I'm like, who is this character? And why is he such a good boy? He's so cute. Unfortunately, it turns out he debuts in Sonic 06, a game that I have no intention of ever playing. I would have watched Game Grumps play it, but the only playthrough they have of it is from the John era, and I am not a big fan of JonTron's style of humor. So, unfortunately, I have not seen any Sonic 06 content, but I really hope she does play it. Her channel is TailSimp. Yeah, they're pretty fun over there. TailSimp. She's sometimes on the stream here. Not tonight, it seems. I guess Monday evenings aren't good for most people. Silver's biggest downfall is debuting in Sonic 06. Such a shame. Do you believe that Game Grumps' playthrough of Sonic 06 is more or less abandoned? Oh no, they didn't finish it? A lot of the JonTron playthroughs are unfinished, I feel like. At least the two that I wanted to see Aaron play. I like that Dan is just so positive. He has such a positive energy, and he also, like, really is excited for the worst games. Like, I think I watched them play, what was it called? Sonic and the Black Knight. And by the end, it was like Dan just pushing Aaron to finish for whatever reason. And I wish they would go back to some old games and play through them, but with Dan. Like, they never finished my favorite game, Banjo-Kazooie, but they did play like one episode or maybe two, and it's with JonTron, and it's just him like cursing up a storm about how much he loves it, and it's like, oh my goodness, just be quiet. I don't like I need to figure that out, Casey. I have no idea how to get YouTube to tell people when I stream. I post it everywhere I can think of, but it would be nice if YouTube would just give you a notification. It's possible that I have to tell YouTube that I'm going to stream before I actually start streaming. And there may be a button that I'm just not pressing to get it to, announce that. Another weird thing, can't find your previous streams. That's weird. I'll look into that. I think there might be a button, again, that I'm not pushing. If I can get them to publish, then I will go and do that when I can. Yeah. If you're using headphones or external mic, maybe one isn't plugged in all the way. ASMR close, please. My volume's been at 100, YouTube at 80. Yeah, that's really strange. Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. I have no idea. Just going back through the chat log to see what I missed. As a lifelong Sonic fan, I agree that the Sonic games from the late 80s, early 2000s really have not aged well. And even so, I still live for Sonic cutscenes. I watched someone play Sonic Riders, like both of the games, and the cutscenes when they fully render are so pretty. They did restart and finish Fire Red with Dan. Yeah, I watched that one. That one's good. They didn't finish it before JonTron left, and they haven't wanted to go back and redo it with Dan because they felt that it wouldn't really be the same. But that's the point! I don't want it to be the same. Oh, man. Don't understand the appeal of the game, Grumps. It's so mind-numbing for me for some reason. It's not, it's not super great. They have moments. And because it's mind-numbing, I don't tend to, remember all of the really annoying, crude humor that they do. And there are some genuinely nice moments when they actually get down and, talk about stuff. It's like, I don't watch everything that Game Grumps puts out. I'll say it like that. It has to be either a game that I've played through, will not play through, and want to see, or just one that, they did a good job on, I guess. There are some, gems like that. I really enjoy a lot of the Game Grumps animated. There are a lot of really talented animators who take Game Grumps audio clips and then animate them. And I feel like they pick some of the best things out of Game Grumps. But it's for me, it's like background noise. And again, it's not bad for games that I've never played, will not play, but I want to see. Because Aaron does, play through it. And, they read the dialogue. And will sometimes, make funny comments. But, for a lot of the games, I might just, like, pull up a compilation and watch that. Aww. My streams are good moments. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I try to be entertaining. I think my streams suffer from like slow dips in action where I either start talking too much and forget to draw, or I draw too much and I forget to talk. But I'm glad you enjoy it. I wanna get into more game stuff. In December I played through Undertale. And it was a lot of fun. And I kind of want to do it again, except maybe a genocide run instead of a pacifist, because I did a pacifist run. I've never played genocide, and I hear there's a lot of story that I'm missing because of that. But I'm just not really good at video games, so it's less me playing a game and more like me just dying constantly. It's like, why did you upload the game over screen for like 3 hours? That's one that I want to do. I want to play Heart Gold, which I wasn't able to because Twitch kind of bugged out. But I got a weird device for Christmas. It was a regift that someone had given my dad, and then he regifted to me. But it's like a tiny, and I mean a tiny, DS-sized computer. Yeah. But it has these little joysticks on it. I forget what it's called. But since it's a Windows, I'm thinking maybe it'll do better with emulators. It runs on Windows. So I might try and get that going if I can finish these Pokemon families. That'll be a nice way to sort of celebrate finishing another batch, is to get the Heart Gold run. I would have to start over, obviously, because I have no idea how to transfer file data, and plus the first run was unwatchable in how just absolutely laggy it was. Oh my goodness. But I might be able to do that, get it running on Twitch again. I don't know about doing it on YouTube. YouTube's a little weirder with its copyright content and stuff. That's why we're listening to royalty-free music right now and not my usual game audio soundtrack music. So Kuro says, but yeah, really the thing about Sonic 06 is that it's pretty broken. It never got proper polish and finish too, because it got rushed out the door due to shenanigans. That's really a shame. I did watch Game Grumps play through Sonic Boom, and that was a nightmare of unfinished, so I can't imagine how it compares to Sonic 06. And I actually really like the redesigns for Sonic Boom. Stuff works right. The game is really amazing. That doesn't happen often. It doesn't seem you're trying. You're in. Aw, thank you. It happens a lot. Drawing requires so much concentration, and you have to play Armello. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it, but I'll look it up if I can remember. I tend to say I'll look things up and then not do it just because I forget. Such a good game. Really like Undertale. It's a great. Is Armello on Steam? Because if it's on Steam, I might be able to download it and play it. Undertale worked fine. I did play it on YouTube, so I don't know how well it would work on Twitch, but since Undertale worked fine, I think if it's on Steam, it should work fine. Really like Undertale, the great example of games slapping you in the face with bad choices that you're fully free to make. The game never railroads you into being the bad guy. Personally, Genocide seems like it needs a lot of editing. Those battles are hard, so either people shut up and concentrate or you keep dying over and over. Your voice will soon be copyrighted if you're not careful. Oh no! Sonic Boom is just blatantly lazy. Oh, but it could have been good. It could have been. They at least try to make something passable. Yeah. It's so precious. So when I played the Undertale, it was absolutely hilarious because I was sitting here fighting Undyne for who knows how long. At least an hour, probably. 30 minutes to an hour, I was sitting here fighting Undyne, wondering when the battle was going to end. And then finally someone showed up in the chat and was like, "You're supposed to run." And I was like, I almost cried. That game. But yeah, it does seem like it would need a lot of editing, just based on how long it took me to play Pacifist. Some parts of Pacifist run. The Genocide run is gonna be no fun at all. Which is another thing that I really don't like about YouTube is it doesn't give you a download button for your videos. With Twitch, you can just go to the archives, and it really easily lets you download the videos that you've recorded. YouTube, you have to like go to a third-party site and copy the link over and wait for them to download it for you. I don't know why they can't just make it easy. And I would have to download the footage in order to edit it down. But that would be one where I would, you know, maybe play it live and then publish the edited version. So I can't play any games that I have that are like on a system, unfortunately, because I don't have a capture card or anything. If I did, I would love to play stuff like maybe Luigi's Mansion, Banjo-Kazooie. I would totally play. In terms of emulators, I have Ace Attorney, which I would totally play again for the stream. That game I feel like has a lot of reading though, which would be killer on my voice. But Undertale had a lot of reading and I made it out of that alive, so who knows. Ace Attorney is a really good game. So I would totally replay that. YouTube does have a download button? What? I have no idea where it is if it does. Remember seeing someone do a genocide run and they just sat there with red glasses and a creepy grim? Oh, it was oddly fitting. Oh, okay. It's scary. Touch the button modify, which is a drop down. Download MP. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that, Chico, and see if it works. Think I finally finished the line art. Why did I choose to do a long ponytail and scarves in the wind? Tried Ace Attorney, but I didn't ace at all. Much on the contrary. I already told you about it. You just forgot. If you did, I must have gone to look for it. But I can't find it. I just can't find it anywhere. I've looked all over the place. Up and down. That was a while ago, though. So it never hurts to try again. There are some things that I just can't find, and it's like right in front of my face. So it's also possible that I'm just being really dumb. But I don't know. Or maybe I did find it and I'm just forgetting. That's also a possibility. It's very possible that you told me last time. I went, found it, downloaded some videos, and then forgot that I had found it and downloaded videos. That's also a possibility. So, yay for poor memory. There we go. No, I don't like that. I don't like it. Abort, abort. Go back. I'm blind. I just blind. I need to figure out how to publish the videos. Gotta make sure those are visible to the public. Though not all of them are very good, so I don't know if I want them all to be published for the world to see. I bet Treecko's tails are soft. Soft and squishy. Like a gecko. Treecko! I like the Velociraptor look. Also, you should totally do a line art tutorial. Oh man. Tutorials. Now that's a thing. I've tried to do tutorials before. It's really difficult to do pre-recorded footage, because you can just like record it over and over again. Like on the streams, if I mess up, I'm there. That's me. Well, then you know, it happens and then it's over. It's like, not a lot of people will go and watch an entire art stream again. So yeah, but with like a tutorial that's maybe 15 minutes long, you kind of are putting it out there for people to watch over and over again, and so I just like want to get it perfect. And I'm sitting there, oh, it takes me an entire day to record something that works. And then it's something that works. It's not even something that I'm happy with, because I tend to have to listen to myself if I do recordings, and then it's not good. I do this annoying thing where after I say a sentence, I'll take a really big breath. So then afterwards, when I'm trying to cut down the awkward pauses and stuff, it's just all these sentences that end with like a big breath take, as if I'm going to say something else, and then I don't say anything. But I mean, there's not much to say about line art. It's everyone kind of finds a way that works for them. Like for me, it's just making quick strokes and using the eraser tool to polish the edges, making sure that when lines touch each other, they don't go over. When they're next to each other, they don't make it too thick. It's a lot of it is style. Like, if something looks wrong to you, then redo it. And only you know what you want it to look like, so. Not to mention, you have to start with like a really large canvas. Because if your canvas is way small, there's no way to get your lines smooth. It's just going to be pixelated. It's going to be a lot easier to work with. Don't get me wrong. When it's a lower resolution, you have a lot more control, but it's not going to look great. Everyone starts like that. Half the video is cut during editing. I can do a tutorial to mimic your style if you want. Oh, shoot. How big is your canvas? Do you shrink it afterwards? I always shrink my canvas, no matter what size it is, to 72 pixels per inch. And I make the pixels dimensions like between 700 and I'm gonna say 1280, just to throw out a random number. I find that 700 is a very manageable size, and it doesn't look too small. And 72 is just the resolution that the screen will display anyway, so it'll look fine. Yeah, if you take a really large image and you scale it down, then it'll retain the smoothness of the line work. Much better than if you were to start with a small canvas. And then beyond that, you know, it's just knowing where to put your thicker lines. Like, do I want this to stand out a little more? Then I'll make it a little thicker. Does this seem like it would look nice? It doesn't have to make sense as long as it looks nice. But will it look nice with a thicker line? Then put in a thicker line. It's all just style. I do need to do tutorials though. I think there's a lot of stuff that could be beneficial to put out. It's just, you can't do a tutorial sounding like an idiot or nobody will take you seriously, you know? And I, sir, sound like quite the idiot. I want to do tutorials on resolution, on image size. It's all stuff that I have to teach my interns at work. But when I have to put it in words that are scripted and recorded, it just doesn't come out right. I'm Asian, so I'm smart. I'm an artist because I couldn't math in school. Now, I'm pretty sure the whole, like, Asians are good at math thing started because when Asians came over to America, math was, like, the only thing that could really translate from what they knew. Everything else was like, you know, literature is all new to them. History is all new. Science is about the same, but the terms are, you know, English now, so that's still difficult. Not everyone's really athletic, so that's just how it happened. Oh my goodness. Okay. How am I doing on time? 10:21. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. How am I doing? I think I'm making good time. I just need to throw some color on. Just throw some color on and that'll give us enough time to do some Pokemon drawing, I think. I need to come up with a better name for that thing, that game stuff that we do at the end of the stream, because I can't be drawing Pokemon during the stream and then say I'm gonna do some Pokemon drawing at the end. It's the same thing, you're already doing it. Ugh. feel like it loses quality whenever I shrink and enlarge, so I try just to nail the perfect size thing I want. This is the first of the Hoenn families. Welcome to Hoenn. Nope. I start from the top and I work my way down. I might put it to the patrons to decide if they want to see a specific one out of order. That's something that might happen. But unless it does, and I don't want to jump too out of order because I do like doing these one at a time so I don't get confused. But yeah, next week we'll, which one's next? Is it the fire starter or the water starter? I think it's water. Mudkip? You have some animatics influence. Did you watch the cartoon show by any chance? Animaniacs. Funny enough, I don't think I did. Never really watched Animaniacs. I do enjoy their style though, so I know of it. This is good. I like it. Okay, let's throw some color on there. I'm really happy with how the tails came out. Yeah. Let me maybe put some darker shadow down here. The canvas I'm working on right now is let me pull it up. It's 20 by 13 at 300, which I usually don't want to do too big because the stream sometimes lags if I do go too big. But I chose this size because when you scale it down, it turns to 9 by 6, which is the size that I printed it at. So it gives me the option to do a really big print or scale it down to a perfect 9 by 6 to do a small print. And so that's just how I decide on the size. Usually if I'm doing, you know, a random sketch or a drawing, I'll do something smaller, like say 5 by 5 or 5 by 7. But when you're resizing, you just gotta make sure that you have that resample button turned on to throw away the extra pixels and then save it as a copy so you don't lose the version with all the good information, because you'll never be able to get it back. Resampling it to 72 pixels is only for posting it online, but you always save that copy with the good resolution, because once it's online, people aren't, well, like, you know, one, you don't want people to be stealing your art at a high resolution, so it's good that it doesn't look great, unless you don't care about that stuff and want like the best quality online, which is, you know, that's your choice. But then beyond that, you know, if it's too big, it might also not load fast enough, and people's attention spans are real low. Makes you want to brush your teeth. That's awesome. There's nothing in the world that makes me want to brush my teeth. Oh, I gotta put that little line on his belly. And there's a line of some sort on Grovile's belly as well, but I don't know what it looks like. Let me pull it up. When I turn these layers on, for some reason it lags. It's green. Okay. Oops, what's going on? Nope. Give me my brush. Give me a sec. I'm just looking through everything, making sure everything looks good. Fixing stuff here and there as I see fit. Oh, let me get this correct. Something like that. Yeah, everything else looks okay. I'm going to drop some color then. Let's see. So Grovile and Sceptile are the same green as each other. So I'm gonna select these bits there, and as well as Sceptile. Man, their names are too similar. Sceptile's toes are the same color even though they're set apart. And I'm just gonna, it doesn't really show. Oh, it does. Okay. But I'm gonna color that part body color even though it's not supposed to be. And that's my artistic license. Get his face. Let's find a good color for that. It's kind of cool colored. A little bit desaturated. Let's say somewhere around there. I'm gonna drop it in and we can play around with it from there. Yeah, it's a little too cool. I don't want it that far into the cool end. So let's bring it up a little. Let's warm it up a tad. Just a little bit. Maybe lighten it a bit. I like that. I'm gonna go with that. I might change it later. Oh, I forgot his little butt. Little butt. Other than excruciating toothaches. Oh, I'm sorry. Man, speaking of toothaches, I don't have a toothache, but I need to see the dentist, and I forgot to make an appointment over the winter break, and now school's starting up again. Gotta get back to work, and oops, why did I select his chin? School's coming back up, and I have to go to work, and can't be going to the dentist when you got work. Oh, that's supposed to be skin color too. I'll leave that off. Select the dark green color. That's good. I'd say that's good enough. I'm not sure if the tail's supposed to be skin color. Let me try that. I think it's supposed to be the same color as these two skin. Something like that. Now, this is red. This is red. And this is red. Let me drop those in. But it's not a super red. It's like muted. Don't believe the dentists. Doesn't help the paranoid and hypochondriac. Aw. Can't remember what hypochondriac means, but If you don't trust your doctor, who are you gonna trust? Now let's drop in some yellow. Let's drop in some yellow. It's more of a orangey yellow. Yellow color. What color should the mouth be? Let's go with the purple. Don't know why, but I just want to try it. Now I'm gonna go in and color these parts by hand. Gotta pick your battles. My little color tool isn't perfect, but it gets the job done. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Zooming in, I noticed a little uh-oh. Sometimes on the streams, the button presses are, they get laggy, and if the shift key thinks that it's being pushed and you pick up your pen and put it down somewhere else, it'll draw a line between the 2 points, which is a no-go. It's a no-no. Something like that, maybe, yeah. Let's see if I've forgotten anything. Everything seems to be colored in to me. Let's turn these folks off if they will. Ouch! Ouch! Ugh! Someday I'd like to buy physical copies of your stuff. I would have devoured your art and comics as a kid. Oh man! I hope to someday be able to make a physical copy of my Nuzlocke and just have it on the shelf, but I found a comic book publisher that like prints and binds comic books, and they wouldn't do it for me because it's copyright stuff. And I'm like, I'm not selling it. I just want one copy. I just want to be able to hold it in my grubby hands, put it on my shelf. I kind of want to make some of these parts a little darker just to imply a shadow. And then let's put some shadow, like actual shadow in there. Maybe if I select this blue. Let's see what that looks like. Speaking of selling my stuff, though, like last week, I believe it was, I heard of a small convention that's happening at my school, at the school that I work. And I work at George Mason University. It's in Northern Virginia. They're having a small artist alley type deal. And I've heard of small conventions. They're not really a convention. I shouldn't call it a convention. It's just the artist alley. I think libraries have them sometimes. Just small little things where like local artists and stuff and people can get together and sell their work and just, you know, have fun. It's great for like beginners to sort of cut their teeth on a smaller audience. It's not as expensive, so it's not you know, a lot of pressure to make your money back type stuff. And yeah, it's been so long since I've done a convention. I kind of wanted to do it. Looking at my stock, it's a little intimidating. Because the last time I went to a convention, I wasn't there to sell, so I didn't really put a setup. And the one before that, when I was trying to sell stuff, I had to basically tear down the original setup I had and like redo it in a way that kind of really damaged a lot of the pieces. So I don't know. Like I could technically reuse my stuff. It's I basically have my posters mounted on some black foam core. The problem is when they like fell, it damaged the corners, so they don't look great. It's possible they may look fine if I just like, you know, hang them up and no one will look that closely. But I don't know, it's a little shoddy in my opinion. It's a lot of work getting ready for a convention. And it's coming up really soon too. Like I only just heard about it last week, I think, at the end of the week, and it's, I think February the 9th is when it is. So that's like almost no time at all to prepare. Luckily, I don't really need to print anything. I have plenty of prints that I can sell. Well, yeah, just thinking about it makes me nervous. I have printers. I work at a print shop, actually. The problem is I don't have foam core, and mounting is a huge to-do. I don't want to pay for mounting, just for a small convention like this. So that's where my problem lies. I could like figure out another way to display this stuff that doesn't involve the foam core. That's my other option. And I'm thinking of making some kind of what's it called? A zine. I'm thinking of making some kind of zine with some of my rodent pictures that don't necessarily make for good standalone prints, but maybe together as a collection, it could potentially sell. Oh man, I also have to pull out my old square whatever it's called, my PayPal like phone attachment, because the last convention I went to, it did not want to work at all. I don't know what's wrong with it either. It's I think it's brand new. Maybe I brought the wrong one. Because the last convention I went to, something happened, it didn't work, so I called them and they sent me a new one. And it was the one that they had sent me out of the package, I believe. The irony! Make a calendar. Huh. A Pokemon family calendar, maybe? That would be really fun. That's a good idea, actually. I might think about it. It is the beginning of the year, after all. But it's not quite the beginning of the year. So it'd be a little strange selling a calendar where you can't use an entire page of it. Like, this calendar starts at February. Do they do that? Does anyone sell a calendar that's just, like, missing a month? But I guess that's all calendars when you buy them after January. Problem with making calendars is, again, it's the time. Because you have to go through and put down different holidays that people need to know about. You have to make sure that the dates line up with the day of the week. It's not as simple as just throw some numbers in a grid. But that's a really good idea. Thank you for that. I will steal that idea wholesale. Something to think about for, if not this convention, then the next. I'm gonna make this whole arm a blue to push it into the back. Maybe that'll work. Second-hand calendars. That idea is royalty free. Yay! It's hard to find anything these days that doesn't cost money. Oh boy. And other than that, I'm just kind of nervous about getting back to work. Hoping the printer will get fixed tomorrow. I've got some artists who need some really big stuff printed for some show, and our big boy printer decided now is the good time to just stop working completely. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Fun thing to go back to. Hopefully it doesn't get too busy before I can get it fixed, but who knows. And of course, in the beginning of the semester, all the new students need need print shop tours, so the teachers all bring their kids around, and then I'm the one who has to stand there and tell them what we do, and I always get nervous. Talking in front of a group is like the one thing that I've never gotten used to. Public speaking. The bane of my existence. Especially when the talk is essentially, hey kids, this is where we're gonna take all your money. I would make a terrible businessman because, one, I hate talking in front of people, and two, I hate taking people's money. You can't run a business on those principles. I feel like this belly needs to... This shadow needs to come up higher. Something like that. I might have to step back and see if it actually looks good, but I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Oh, the balls on this back, I can't forget those. They would look absolutely terrible if I just left them like this. There we go. Put a little bit on this one. Nanang! Nanang! Oh. Sometimes you think you're done and then you zoom out and you're like, oh, this needs something. This needs something. I like that. I don't like this. Really trying to get this done quickly, so I've stopped looking at the chat for now, but I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Just give me a sec. I want to make sure that I at least have something finished for the night. think. Nope. Still one more thing that needs shadow. I know I'm running low on time. Don't remind me. We'll get done in about half an hour, I promise. And, okay, now that we have some shadow laid down, we can play around with how it looks. So, do we want it darker? I think having it a little darker is good. What color do we want the shadow to be? Do we want it a warmer tone? That's pretty nice. It looks more dinosaur-y. Let's go with that. And in order to add some more shadow, I need to turn it to 100%. Turn off multiply. And grab that color. And now I can zoom in and fix this mess that I made up here. Coloring from afar is never a good idea. You can never get a good controlled thing going if you're zoomed out. All the corners get missed. You go out the line and can't tell. Here and there. But then again, you don't want to zoom in too much because then you'll be there all day. Let's turn that multiply back on. Bring it back down to about 50%. And let's see. Let's drop in a color in the background. I'm going to start with the shadow color, actually. Let's see what that looks like. Pretty good, actually. Let me see if I can find something else a little more suitable. What if I up the saturation? I don't like the blues. Let's stay in the warmer colors. Red hurts my eyes. Now there's a color. Let me check in with the chat real quick. People usually do a discount when you can't use the full calendar. Could also do planners, because students and all, or calendars that are just for the semester. Not to mention calendars specific for Mason, like exam dates and all. Could we run a side business in the shop? Hey, that's a good idea, yeah. Especially if they have pitchforks. You can be the brain. You'll need a face. Violet. Violet. Let's try violet. Is that a violet? Let me desaturate it again. Let me see how that looks. What if it's darker? Darker? Maybe lighter. I like it lighter. Let's go a little lighter. It's too much like a lavender now. Let me saturation up a little more. Something like that. Lily. Lily of the Valley. What if I use this light color and go bright? Hey, I like that color. This color right here. I don't know what it is, but you do multiple versions in Photoshop. Yeah. You can see them all. I'm gonna stick with this, actually. And, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of a ground. And I'm gonna kick up the dust with the ground color. I do really want to do the convention. I keep calling it a convention. I do want to do the artist alley, if only just so I could like promote the print shop. Like, hey folks, we're over there across the way. It's kind of sneaky marketing. And let's see. I also like to throw in a bit of shadow at the top. Just by making a curve like that. Center it. And then inverse the selection. And that piece can be a little darker. Just a tad. Just a very small amount. I'm digging it. Let me zoom out, see if any other color will work. You know, this kind of teal green also sort of looks nice, even though it goes a little too cool for me. I'm not a big fan of how the red tones clash with the belly color. It's gonna be either green or yellow for me. So that's the one I have. Of course, if I had like infinite amount of time and energy, I would make a full background, but these Pokemon families are meant to be quick and fun. So there we have it, the Treecko family running along like they just don't care. And before we wrap up, I'd like to ask the chat for a Pokemon that we can draw to sort of close things up with. I'm gonna do random.org. Can't sell your poke fams. I could, yes I could. I just can't make that the main thing. They have a sort of fan art policy where they won't take any responsibility if someone comes after you. Let me pull up my Pokemon challenges. These are the games that we play. And Chico knows how to play the game. Oh my goodness. Araquanid? Treecko! Forgot how to do it wait. Oh, you know, I don't think I can do that with a Mac. Unless you do have a Mac, in which case then I don't know. But I know in Windows computers you can pull up different workspaces of the same document. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. If not, let me see. Araquanid. Oh my goodness. So here are the options. 1 to 10. Let's generate a random number. I hope it doesn't give me 1. 5. Animation. Oh my goodness, that's almost worse. Okay. Do I have enough time for an animation? Let's do a quick one. At least this means I can... You know what? I'll give you guys the pick. Which one of these do you want to see me do? You guys decide. Do you want to see me animate whatever an Araquanid is. Do you want to see me draw it from memory? Because I have no idea what that thing looks like. Or any of the others. Animation, okay. Apparently, the chat hates me, so... Oh, why did I throw that away? That means I do get to look it up, though, okay? The rule is if I don't get number 1, I do get to look it up. So, Araquanid. I think I kind of know which one it is. It, evolves from... It evolves from, one of the Gen 7 Pokemons. It's like a little... Yes, okay. I know... What is it called? Dewpider. So I know what a Dewpider kind of looks like. I have... What is this thing? Oh, man, oh, man. Okay. Just throw that in here. What am I doing? I'm gonna pull this back up. Save. Quit. Because I am not animating in that. And let's pull up Mr. Adobe Flash Animation and see if it'll load for us. This is karma for choosing the internet over rolling a D10. Okay, so last stream I pulled out my D10. Okay, I'm holding it right here. And I rolled it and I got 11. Because apparently what I thought was a D10 is actually a D12. I have no idea where... Oh, my scroll's up here. Okay. Let me see. Oh, it opened. I'll look for it and I'll have it ready next time. I didn't have it ready for this time, but next time, everyone. Let's see. I do get to look it up. Does anyone have any suggestions for what they would like to see it doing? Otherwise, I'm just going to make up something easy. I can animate in Photoshop, but it's terrible. It's terrible to work with. There's no scrubbing, and there's no frames that you can like really work with. You can't just like drag the frames. It's a nightmare. I'm just gonna draw it first, because I've never drawn this thing before. And this is gonna be a really quick, really simple animation. I'm not going crazy with it. Okay, guys? A one-word prompt if you've got one. If not, I'm just gonna do whatever seems like the simplest to have this thing do. It's got tiger stripes. This thing has tiger stripes on its back. And then legs with little bubbles. Diamond. Diamond. So right now in my mind as I draw this, right? Because I have to animate it, I'm trying to break it down into simple shapes. As simple as I can remember. Because that'll help me move it around. Oh, and there's a spike on the butt. Okay. Okay, so that's our Dewpider. I think I got it. Okay. Rolling skates. Oh no. Cheerleading. I see cheerleading first. I wonder if these are eyebrows. Okay, I see cheerleading first, so I'm gonna try that. Just get a base down, so I have something to work with. I think I put this one too far from the body. Let me move it a little closer. That way I can get this guy a little further out. And then stick that down. It's a little lopsided. Oopsies. I need to at least make sure that its legs seem like they're standing on ground. So bring that down. Bring that down. Gotta sort of... Oopsies. Yeah, okay. So he's standing on the ground. With 4 of its legs. So that with the others, he can cheerlead. He can lead the cheer. I've already forgotten what this is called. Arachnid. Araquanid. Araquanid. What is this? So I've recently started being a lot more active on a certain Discord server, and they have a thread that's just this bot that that randomly posts a Pokemon, and you have to type its name real fast in order to catch it. I mean, technically the only reason you have to type it fast is so someone else doesn't catch it first. But you not only have to know the Pokemon's name, which if it's, you know, let's be honest, if it's Gen 6 and beyond, I pretty much won't know the name. And I actually have forgotten some of the previous gen names too, so that's difficult. But then even if you know the name, you have to spell it right. So it's really difficult for me to actually catch anything. You might be wondering why I'm spending so much time on this drawing when this is supposed to be an animation. It's because I want to reflect it, and I don't want to have one side more detailed than the other, so I want to make it look good before I reflect it. Okay, so there, I'm going to copy, paste frame, and in this pasted frame, I'm going to select, no, I don't think I have to select anything. I'm just going to reflect the entire thing 100. There we go. So it kind of jiggles back and forth. And in the middle, insert keyframe, blank keyframe. I wanna, no, let's put him back. Let's see if I can work with this. Select his, select everything. Okay. Kind of Move them like that, maybe. Paste. Oops. Rotate a little. Put them down. Stinger in the middle. But yeah, like if this thing came up, I would not know what it is. It took me a while to get swallowed because I spelled it with like 2 L's and then I spelled it with an O, or, you know, like, it's hard to get the exact name. It's not down far enough. I'm gonna erase these legs. I want him to sort of bob back and forth. Okay. So select this, bring it down. Maybe the body can stay up slightly. Don't need this to go quite as far down. Don't want the ground to go down. That would defeat the purpose. Give me a P. Give me an O. Give me a K. Give me an E. What's that spell? Pocky. Okay, let's turn this off and see. Okay, I like it. Okay, let's get the pom-poms in. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Okay. Okay, so this should go in front of the leg, I believe. This leg, because it's acting as an arm. And maybe this isn't quite as long. Like, he's brought it down about there. This goes in front. Something like that. And then I'll need the same exact thing, but on this side, so... What am I doing? Ah! I should be putting these on a different layer. Ah! Go back, go back. Don't want anything that blocks your character to be on the same layer. Oh my goodness, okay. I don't know what cheerleaders look like. Is it like that? And then insert keyframe. Like that. And then in the middle, insert keyframe. Okay. So, what I need to do then is make some pom-poms. Here's a pom-pom here, and a pom-pom there. Fast to catch. Puppy Piter, wagging its stinger. Are you gym leader Roxy? Chibi challenge. What's a chibi challenge? Oh my goodness. Okay. The chat has run away from me, I'm afraid. I'm not sure what y'all are talking about anymore. It's been too long since I've seen ya. But is gym leader Roxy a one of the newer gym leaders? Because I don't actually know that one. Can't recall. The name sounds familiar. I'm gonna take a white and drop that in. And go on to this one and Roxy is the rock star gym leader whose lyrics are literally Pokemon. Oh, really? Speaking of Spider-Man, though, I've not seen Into the Spider-Verse, but I've seen all the pictures and the hype, and I had no idea that pig guy. What's his name? Uh, uh, Spider Pig. What's he called? Is it just Spider Pig? Um, that thing is like a dream come true. It's just Spider-Man puns for days. Like, I can't believe his name is Peter Porker. He works at, what is it? Daily Bugle? He was bitten by a radioactive spider. It's too much to believe. Um, the fact that his nose is like the Spider-Man mask, and it has like a set of eyes that are emotive. I can't with it. It's too much for me to handle. Why can't I color this in? There we go. Give it a little follow through action with this. Spider Ham. I think that's its name. Did you guys already put in the chat? Yeah, I got it before you. Spider Ham. It's the worst. I love it. She's from Black and White too. Oh, okay. Wait, which gym leader is she? Does she replace Elisa? Who does she replace? I've never played Black and White 2. I'm saving myself for marriage. No, I'm saving myself for like when I finish Black and White because I don't want to let it influence me knowing what happens in the future. Okay, how do I think it's F5? Yes. Oops. want to move this down a little. As well as this one. Let's see if this is any good. I don't know. It needs more frames, it's what it is. I think it's too sudden. It needs some in-betweens, for sure. I think here. And probably here. And need something that looks like maybe that. Oops. Maybe that. I think this. Copy. Copy. Something like that, and let's copy this. Copy. Flip. Somewhere there. Let's see if that's any good. It looks like it's just like shooting pom-poms, like pew, pew, pew. See what happens if I extend this for a frame. And extend this for a frame. And this and this. See if that looks any better. Maybe? Well, folks, I think that does it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. for joining me for the stream. It's always a lot of fun to be able to share these times together and get some work done. But as we wind down, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank my patrons for supporting me. Yeah, I guess what do we have to say? The next Nuzlocke episode is up for the patrons. It's $1 to get early access to the episodes. So if you want to see the next episode now, otherwise, it will be up at the end of the month, or I should say the beginning of next month. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and take care. Get a lot of sleep. Don't go crazy. Stay healthy and strong. And let's check the chat one last time. Simpsons reference. Not sure what the Simpsons reference is because I don't watch Simpsons, but I might have stolen a reference from someone else who was making a Simpsons reference, so it's totally possible. The wedding ring is a modded cartridge. Can't believe it. You actually made Araquanid cute. Your art power is just too great. I can make anything cute. There's not enough cute to go around. Did you reform this animation? Never saw the dancing fox. That's actually Zero the Red Wolf. She's my my personal avatar. And yeah, I made that animation. It doesn't really go with the music though, so that's the problem. But yeah, anyways, good night. See you Wednesday morning. I will see you then. And for everyone else, I will see you next week. Have a good week, guys. Have a good evening. Good night. Bye.